Ratepayers spent nearly $1 billion last year to run San Onofre, even though it was offline. California regulators promised to look into whether customers should continue to foot the bill. But some say the state watchdog is backing away from that promise. Joining me to talk about ratepayer costs are Truman of the Division of Ratepayer Advocates, which is part of the Public Utilities Commission, and Dawn Kelly, Executive Director of the Utility Consumers Action Network. Truman, I want to start with you. In October, the California Public Utilities Commission announced that it was opening an investigation into whether customers should continue to foot the bill. Now that investigation has been significantly narrowed. What were your expectations back in October, and what are they now?
Well, and back in October, we had hoped the Commission would promptly make it so that the utilities could not collect their costs from ratepayers. The Commission is being very cautious now. They've set up some accounts to keep track of all the costs, and they are going to first address some legal issues before they address what to do about utility rates.
So I want to get to you, Dawn. A key part of this inquiry was indeed supposed to be looking at whether ratepayers should continue to foot the bill. And this week, the Public Utilities Commission releases this memo that's narrowed the investigation significantly. What's your take on that? And before you start, I want to mention that we asked Southern California Edison to come on the program. They declined. Please go ahead.
Thank you. The Commission did, in fact, release a scoping memo, and what that memo does is it tells all the parties the plan for the PUC's, or California Public Utilities Commission's, intent on investigation. They divided it into several phases, and they are looking at costs from 2012, the breakdown going forward. The problem that the Commission, from my perspective, is that they're refusing to look at how did we get here. And all they want to take a look at least from phase one, is the expenditures made for after the shutdown and whether or not the Southern California Edison's actions were reasonable in light of what had happened after the breakdown. What is concerning is that a couple of years ago, the generators at San Onofre had broken down before, and they were replaced. And in that replacement, several decisions were made, and lots of money were spent, up close to $1 billion, to both replace the generators as well as to operate the plant. I think it's appropriate that if the Commission take a look at what promises did Edison make to the Public Utility Commission about installing those generators and running them. Did they say it would only last for 1 or 2 years, or did they say it would last for 20 or 30?
Okay, but on the issue of customer reimbursements, we asked the California Public Utilities Commission about the fact that they've narrowed their investigation now, or they put off the question of refunds, and they released this statement. They said that everything Edison spends on songs is subject to refund regardless of the date. The immediate issue is to clarify whether costs should be refunded now, or does statute say we must wait for Edison's next general rate case. Truman, you know, your colleague Joe Como told commissioners last summer, saying that under the law, they have the ability to start those customer refunds immediately. Do you feel that customer interests have been placed on the back burner?
Well, it does seem like the Commission is being very deliberate about how it wants to address the refunds. We wish it had already been taken up and already dealt with, but they're not doing that. The utilities have basically said you can't make the rate change until Edison's next rate case in 2015, and that's not something we agree with. We think the Commission could change rates immediately if it wished.
Dawn, you know, we just went through a scorching summer last summer. Edison says that San Onofre is a critical asset to meet California's energy needs. But again, we just went through a scorching summer without the plant. Do you think that we can continue operating without the plant?
We have before. Last summer. We can do it again. Right now, the issue is whether or not the Commission authorizes Edison to spend the money to restart the plant and to put the energy back onto the grid.
Now, the public gets a chance to weigh in on this.
They do. Right now, there's a public participation hearing scheduled for February 21st in Costa Mesa. I would urge all of your viewers who plan on attending. In this particular case, it is the public's participation is important. It is important for the Commission to know where the public stands, whether or not the public believes that another $1 billion should be spent trying to repair a plant that was repaired a couple of years ago for $1 billion.
And we've got to wrap it there. Don Kelly, Truman Burns, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.